I'm back again. Welcome, you're very welcome to the Inky Road, issue 6. And today, well, what I was going to do was talk about sort of today in history. You know, take the date and see what popped up on one of these history websites that happened on this date in, you know, whenever, and there were some sort of pretty good sort of things, you know, that happened during the First World War, the Second World War, and back in the Middle Ages and everything. But I just thought, why don't I just look in to see what I have around me, you know, physical objects, rather than sort of getting, you know, pictures off the internet or whatever. And lately, we were just talking around the dinner table, my family and I, about a find that my youngest daughter made a few years ago when we were in Galway, and we were walking along the beach, and she found this. Okay, I don't know whether you can see it very easy. I'll hold it up further. That is a spark plug. Okay, but when we actually went looking for it on the web, it turns out that this spark plug is from somewhere between 1904 and 1920. We got that from the actual branding on it, Oleo, and it has this extra mark here on that side, Oleo mark, and I'm not sure, it says déposé, so there's a marque déposé, so it's kind of branded and I suppose trademarked or whatever. And it's very corroded, so you can hardly see. But I soaked it over about 4 days in vinegar, and I started to see some of the actual mechanics of this thing. So I've got, you know, this part here, which I think is brass, which is the nut part of it. You know, so you can use a spanner on that. The two ceramic ends, which are for isolation for the electricity, they're kind of pretty well intact. This gasket here is copper, that's pretty well intact, and there's a copper head on this for conducting electricity, I suppose, and that kind of has come away, but it was actually corroded on. So it was only when I actually sort of got rid of some of the corrosion that it started to well, you know, it obviously was held on by a wire before, but now it obviously doesn't hold on. So we'll just have to sort of, I don't know, hold that on with a bit of tape or something. But that's it. There was a kind of some form of metal jacket around here, which I presume was probably steel or something like that. But that's so heavily corroded. You can see bits of it is corroded away to nothing. But anyway, it got me thinking about this. First of all, how spark plugs work. I'm not at all sure, but you know, they sit into the cylinder, don't they? And electricity is passed through to the end where it sparks. The spark jumps, and the gas from the petrol ignites and then pushes the cylinder. Okay, so that's the general principle how it works. Obviously, this one isn't going to work. This is buggered, I think, in technical terms. But I thought it was an interesting thing, so I looked up something about spark plugs and who invented the internal combustion engine. I didn't realise who actually had come up with a patent first of all. Before I go ahead, though, if you're watching this, and it'd be nice to see if you were watching it, so you could put you know, some comment in, and hopefully I'll see it come up in the chat here. And tell me where you're watching from. It'd be very interesting for me, and give me a little bit of a boost to see that somebody's actually there, because I'm just talking into a camera as it is at the moment. So let me where you're sort of looking in from, and then do subscribe, and perhaps what else are you supposed to say in these situations? Subscribe and like the video. I think that's it. So yeah, if you're watching after the fact, right. So you know, back to the thing in hand. That's a modern spark plug, and that's off a small machine. That's off from a Vespa. So you can see the size of it, the difference there. I mean, they're pretty much the same, really, in the sense that nothing really has changed about them. What was I going to say to you? Not a lot to say. I mean, I see that one there. Pretty much is exactly the same. They haven't developed very much at all. And so I'm just reading about the man who seems to be credited with the invention of the internal combustion engine is Jean-Joseph Étienne Lenoir. He was Belgian, actually. He was an engineer. He developed the internal combustion engine in 1858. So very early on. His was the only one that there had been attempts at it before, but his was the only one that was commercially successful. So he's kind of credited with it. I was going to say there was something I read about here that about Lenoir had completed his work on his engine by 1859 and had a grand unveiling in January 1860 for 20 guests. In his speech, he said, "If it works, I will add a carburetor. I will add carburetor heating at a constant level, which will allow the use of petrol or gasoline or tar or any resin." But he said it was a strange thing to open with, isn't it? A launch of a machine. So if it works, anyway. But it did work, and now we've got pollution everywhere. But so I just thought I'd start off with my drawing, because this is a drawing blog or vlog after all. Let me see, I'm going to first of all start out just by drawing the find. Let me just, let's go, yeah, before I go, let me have a look. There's a way to show, just bear with me, the spark plug itself. There, that's the spark plug. That's a kind of, that's a one that I found on the web. It's actually for sale on some kind of vintage website. I don't know how much it could go for, but probably quite a lot of money, because if you've got your old Model T Ford, you'd need something to run it from. I'm not sure if any of the modern plugs would fit, but I suppose that those were so they're still that looks in really good condition, that one, doesn't it? So it looks as if it might work indeed. The other thing that I thought it might be, because it was found on the beach, was it could be an aviation one. That could be possible too, if it was a plane that dropped into the sea or something like that. Although people got rid of things into the sea, didn't they? They may have got rid of old cars and things like that just as much. Okay, in the days before we were ecologically minded. So let me see. We'll go back to the. Go to this here, yeah. So and I'll draw. That's my spark plug there, and that's just a simple thing to start out drawing with. Let's have a look. I'll do it with my ink and dip pen. I think that's the head on that thing. So I'm going to draw one there. What it must have looked like. There's an interesting sort of on the actual mark. See that blob there? You can't probably see it very well. I was wondering what it was. If it was a strange shape, just black blot on that porcelain. But in fact, it looks like a man or a woman's head. You can see the nose there. Let's have a look. You can see the nose there, and the chin, the lips. Yeah. So this part here is the bit that you use the spanner on, yeah. And it seems to kind of come out at one side. It seems to jut out. I have kind of hips on it, and also that there is that kind of hexagon shape that you can still see it there. And then there's the other porcelain part there. Now, that, I would imagine, would have been, let's get the spark plug up again. Yes, the gasket, that copper gasket, seems to have seems to sit here, in fact. Okay. Where did it go? Fell off on my desk. Better not lose that. And then you've got... Now, that part there, I'm just looking at it. I'm just trying to sort of reverse engineer this thing in my head here. You can see on the you know, the good condition photograph there that obviously had a collar around it, which had a thread running down, so you wouldn't have seen that that part of the ceramic end. Would have been something like that. What made me think this could have been an aviation spark plug, because they were petrol engined in those days. There's that head. Épousé, and then Marc was written there. What made me think it was an aviation was I found another spark plug, photograph of a spark plug from an aviation rotary petrol engine, and it had a kind of a domed cap on it. But no, what do I know? It isn't really even that domed, but it was just a kind of a fanciful thought, wasn't it? Yeah, right. So there, you've got spark plug there, and we can put a new one on it and compare it. Only slightly more sophisticated, isn't it? Put that. Everything seems to be the same. There's a washer there. I'm drawing this the other way around. It must have had the thing like that. The spark jumps between those 2 points there. In this case, is that hexagonal nut part. I presume that those undulations in the, maybe for heat, transmission of heat or something like that. It gets very hot. And that part, that connects to the HT lead, HT, and that goes into the piston there, and drives the piston, I should say. Give it a bit of shine, bit of shading there, and we'll move on. That was an NGK. It's upside down. Anyway, I'm going to put, that's what, an oleo sparking plug. Found by Emily on Galway Beach, and that is a Vespa spark plug. For comparison. There you go. I like sort of annotating things. Now, going to move on to the next thing. Let's have a look at the man who came up with the combustion engine there. If I move my page just into the center there like that. Oh, look, I can use that page there. I'm going to just have a little go at drawing this mustachioed inventor. Let's have a look. Shall I make that a little bit bigger? Seems we've got a bit of room. There he is. That is Étienne Lenoir, with a big Belgian moustache. Now, let's have a go at drawing him. I've got a bit of paper with the picture on it as well, so let's put him over here. Not going to get too accurate in my drawings. In fact, the object is not to get accurate. Yeah. Zapata kind of moustache. Just give him. It is an amazing invention. Internal combustion engine. Then we'll also have a go at what he invented. Is that a little beard, a smig that I see? A lot of stuff was invented in France, wasn't it? It was very sort of innovative people. That's a nice way to do that. I'm not going to get down into those forensic sort of details. We'll give him a smig. There. He's got very heavily shadowed on that left side there. My intention is not to draw the way that I usually draw. That's just trying to sort of avoid being myself as much as possible. Inevitably it ends up sort of looking like something that I've drawn anyway. It seems to be impossible to actually get away from yourself. Yeah, isn't it? Just sort of mark it so I remember what I was doing. Jean Joseph Étienne Lenoir, born 1822, died 1900. Yeah, there we go. So that's the man himself there. And now I'm going to get rid of that drawing and draw them again without reference to anything I set from my own drawing. Okay, and let's use something else. Let's use that big fat nib on it there. I'm only going to use my, oh, you can't see it anymore, can you? How about that? Yeah. Let's have a look. I got this pen a couple of weeks ago in a kind of a nice goodie bag at the plein air painting festival. It's always nice to get something that you don't have in order to just get yourself out of yourself there for a bit. I'm not referring to the even my drawing anymore. This is the most important thing. Okay, so now I've got it becomes more like a caricature, and then you could go again, do it again, lose that drawing, and just draw from this drawing. He's got his slicked back hair. Okay, now we've done that, that means we can sort of mess around with some colour, I suppose. I'll use a bit of red and my other dip pen. Brings it to life a little bit, I think, when you add sort of a second colour. Give him the old red ears. It's been out in the sun too long. And the red eyes because he's been driving for too long. And it looks like he's sort of draped in the French flag, doesn't it? Which is probably a bit of an irritation for a Belgian. Could still be him, couldn't it? And let's put him in. Let's add something. Let's add, I don't know, I just fancy adding in a little bit of colour. More colour. And I'll add in some yellow. Give him a big yellow face. And that actually brings in a third colour, doesn't it? Because where that marker pen is obviously not permanent. So it's lifting the blue ink and mixing it with the yellow. The red, however, is permanent because it's acrylic. So that isn't lifting, except where it's wet. Green hair, not bad for a Belgian. Have a green overall too. There's some kind of happy accidents in that, aren't there? So where's my water? So now we've got the bold Étienne. Let me just put in a little box around him, like a frame. Come on. And that could be a framed Victorian picture. And if I put a little bit of red in his eyes, it'll appear as a dark on top of that blue. Finish it off a little bit. Give him some shoulders and arms. There. Okay. Right, so let's move on. I'm going to put that there so that when I bring that page over, it's not going to make a total mess. And I'll show you the next thing, which is the what they were all sort of after. I think that's around about the time of Etienne's of engines. I'm going to draw one of them. I'll do that. Oh, shall I do that? Do you know what I'll do? First of all, before I go ahead, I'm just going to make a bit of noise. Sorry about that, but if I turn the page, yeah, excuse me for that. If I turned the page, you see, then that would all just spread out there, and I didn't want that to happen. So what I'm going to do now is just have a go at drawing that that car. Oh, hello, sorry. Brian, hello, how are you doing, Brian? Sorry, Brian Wong, isn't it? Yeah, you've left a kind of a message, so hello to you. And you're in San Francisco too, that is absolutely amazing. Here, I could be anywhere, couldn't I? But I'm in Dublin, quite a sunny Dublin, after kind of a showery day. And things have improved. Do you know what, lads? I can't even see that picture. I'm going to make it bigger. If you just bear with me for a second. Car. And I'll push it up there into the corner. Right, okay, I can see it a little bit better now. So, I'm going to put that in there. It's a massive thing, isn't it? Probably only went around about sort of 2 miles an hour or something. I'm not sure what that is. Is it a sandbag to hold it down? Who can tell? But his engines, was it Jean-Joseph Étienne Lenoir, were based on steam engines, but he kind of powered them from, what did he power them from? It's amazing. Liquid hydrocarbon, which is petroleum, but they were adapted steam engines anyway. Can't find it exactly now. So I presume that was turned into an exhaust. Okay, so what have we got? We've got this coming here. I'll draw in that chap who, we'll do that, and he's obviously sort of pulling on a lever, isn't he? We'll put that in there, like that. So levers there. He doesn't look too sure of himself, but he does have a top hat, so he's winning there, isn't he? Maybe his head is actually that shape. He's got a nice shirt and tie on. He looks a little bit like Abraham Lincoln. That's about the right time, isn't it? He wouldn't have been going anywhere too fast in this thing. And there's his missus beside him, telling him not to drive too fast. I can't really see her very accurately there, but we'll give her a big voluminous dress. They're probably listening to some punk on the radio. Okay. Okay, and then there's a mechanism which holds the thing, the front forks, so to speak. I'm not sure what that is on top. There's kind of a tiller rather than a wheel. Wheels made by a Cartwright. Choo choo choo. Right. And they've even got a servant at the back who must be there to look after the engine. Maybe stoke it or something. We've got a chap over here, another top hat fella. We don't need to concentrate on him, but he does have a rather dashing walking stick and a long coat. Okay, so he's there. All right, you're away, Brian. Yes, I see. You got to run. No problem. It was good to have you. Bit of shadow. That's all right there. I just wanted to sort of draw one of these to see. Well, it's just really just a drawing exercise, isn't it? There. And that leads me on to the last thing, which is Étienne himself. So if I just want to draw an Étienne. Okay, and this is not quite from memory, but it's not drawing from a photograph now, because I've done that. And what does all of this mean? where is it all leading? This is where kind of drawings lead you off into something else. Mainly he was a car manufacturer, wasn't he? So he's making him into a car. They give it a bumper because it would be illegal if it didn't have one. Don't need that picture anymore, do we? Let's have a look, get rid of that. Yeah, okay. Have him leaving the road a little bit. Another way to make movement a little bit is have his tie. We didn't wear ties like that in those days, but we give him a tie anyway. Because we've left him behind, really, haven't we? Étienne. He's become something else. We can have him clutching onto his sides. And the police car chasing him. In the background. What do police cars say? Ner, ner. They used to anyway. You can give that a little bit of colour as well. The old yellow skin again. Woohoo! I'm catching some of the black up in the yellow. You can just use it to make shadows. And grab a little bit of blue. Give him some blue hair. bit of green. Put a bit of yellow into it. And at least I've got some drawing done today. Another 2 pages in the sketchbook filled. I enjoyed that. Let me have a look. Let's go back here. And yeah, that's it. The act of drawing just helps. Hello, you come doing? I've got a visitor. A very wet looking visitor. He was on a bicycle, another invention. That was probably French as well. Alright, that's it. So, I'm signing off for today. That was issue 6 of the Inky Road. I'm just keep drawing every day and keep filling the sketchbook. You never know what will happen or what will sort of come out of it for other kinds of work. Alright, so I'll see you the next time. Alright, all the best. Take care.